Picture this. You're sitting at the kitchen table. It's 2012. You finally open the statements, the 401k, the IRA, the mutual funds. Crash was 4 years ago. You've still been contributing every single month, and you're still not back to where you were before 2008. You did everything right. You didn't panic sell. You stayed the course. You were the good investor. And 4 years later, you're still treading water. Most people close the statement and go right back to doing the same thing because what else are you going to do? That's what we've been told. Stay the course, trust the market. But a few people look at that number and something breaks. Not breaks as in falls apart, but breaks as in breaks free. They say, this isn't the path. It can't be. There has to be a better way. That kitchen table, that 4 years too late moment, that's where empires start. And that's exactly the story of my guest today, Christin and Rod Blunk. And what happened after that moment is one of the best W-2 to self-storage stories I've ever had the privilege of watching up close. A husband and wife team, both former W-2s, started a residential real estate company in 2012. And between 2012 and 2019, they completed over 450 transactions, buying, flipping, holding, wholesaling, all residential properties. In 2020, though, they took, in their words, a leap of faith and pivoted to self-storage. Now they own and operate multiple facilities, have development land, LP positions, and several others. I know my company, Belrose Storage Group, has partnered with them, and I've watched them go from the back of the room at the mastermind to standing on stage at our academies. So this is personal for me. Christin, Rod, welcome to the Self-Storage Investing Podcast. How are you today?
Great, Joe. Thanks for having us on.
Doing well. Thanks for having us.
All right. I hope you're as excited as I am today.
Of course.
I want you to take me back. You're at that kitchen table in 2012. Walk us through what happened when you opened those statements and saw the numbers you saw. What went through your head? What were you feeling?
Well, I was the one who opened the statements because I handle the financial piece of our household. And I was shocked because for 4 years, I didn't open those statements as they came in because I thought we were young, we could recover. We were staying the course, like you said, for the last 4 years, contributing greatly each month. And when I opened it up, I was sick to my stomach because we were not where we were before 2008 hit. And we were still contributing for the last 4 years, not to mention the exorbitant amount of fees we were paying these brokers to manage our money. So it was kind of eye-opening. And I realized that, wow, we thought we were doing everything right, but if we stayed the course, we weren't going to be where we wanted to be. So Rod and I had a conversation and just didn't know what we needed to do, but knew that there was a different path. So just started educating ourselves and decided that we wanted to go into real estate. And so we opened up a residential real estate company.
Were you both on the same page, or did one of you have to kind of pull the other along? Rod, I see you kind of smiling or about to crack a smile there. So maybe you want to take that one.
So I was still the W-2 guy, and I realized we needed to do something, but I was already busy. To me, I was still stuck in some of the mindset of the W-2 of, hey, I got to do this. I got to, pay for the family. I got to make sure the bills are there, but hon, I'm behind you. Just, go find out what you can find out and then tell me where we want to go. And let's see how it goes. But I need you to lead the way. And she did. I mean, she truly did. Grabbed the bull by the horns and took off. I mean, she is a Taurus.
You had a little bit of doubt, maybe? Is that fair to say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, how long have I been putting money in it like everybody else? Watch everybody else do it. Put money in it, right? But the only body who was making any money of it was the, like Christin said, the brokers. They're getting all the money.
Christin, did you have a firm resolve that something had to change and a new direction was needed? Okay.
Just opening those statements 4 years later just solidified that something had to change.
All right. So you started looking into real estate. What was that search like? Were you looking at multifamily? Did you look at any other type of real estate? Was it just residential at first?
In the beginning, it was residential. I felt like that was something that I could do, that I could manage. It just seemed doable to me. And so go ahead.
Go ahead.
So we dove in, we started educating, reading lots of books, and Rod, I went to an auction and bought our first property without me there. It was kind of scary.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Rod, you did all the work and research, and you sent Rod to an auction, and he comes
And I
home with
bought
the
it.
property?
It was a
Were
Texas.
you
Yeah.
like were you the only bidder?
No. Oh no.
Like, is this how I ended up with tickets to the WWE? Like, hey, I'll start the bidding, and then I was the only bidder?
No, I was bidding against competition. I went to like 97,000. We ended up selling that property for 300 and something.
And you didn't even know what you were doing yet?
I knew that I kind of estimated what the costs were going to be because, I've done a lot of home improvement stuff, and that's kind of what gave us the confidence that we could do residential pretty easily.
Yeah, we didn't have
So-
any contractors lined up or anything, Joe.
No.
He came home with a property, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are on the wrong podcast. You should be on a residential real estate podcast telling this story. That's insane. All right, so you launched a residential company in 2012. You're off to the races, thanks to this blind auction that we just attended. 450 plus transactions in. That's not even a side hustle. That's a real business. So what happened next? Why are you here?
Why am I
You seem
here?
like you're crushing it. You're crushing it in Resi at that point.
We were crushing it in Resi. It was brutal. It was a lot of fun. We enjoyed doing it, but it was a lot of hustle. Money coming in, money coming out, deal junkies, always having to buy, always having to sell. And what happened to us is in 2016, Rod got diagnosed with cancer, and we went through that. And there was a period of time, almost a year, where he couldn't work. And he needed 24-hour care, and I was his caretaker. So income wasn't coming in from him, and income wasn't coming in from me. He was still a W-2, and I was running the residential real estate company. We were able to survive that. But, once Rod recovered, we realized that, wow, we could really go down this path again. Knock on wood. Hopefully that never happens. But there's only, if we do go down that road, there's only a matter of time before all the money runs out. And we wanted to put ourselves in a better position for us and for our girls. And so we started looking at first of all, I was stuck in residential real estate. So we had our goals. And then I sat down and did all the numbers in residential real estate and realized there was no way that I wanted to own that many properties to get to where we wanted to get to. And so we both decided that we would open our eyes and look at asset classes. And so we expanded our mind into commercial. Self-storage, mobile home parks, RV parks, and anything else, Rod, that we looked at?
No. I thought about building like athletic parks for people to go and work out and stuff like that. Probably 2 years before the fan, which would have been great, but we just didn't pull the trigger.
But our main goal was to have income coming in where I wasn't trading our time for money. And that there was consistent income coming in case I had to be his caretaker and Rod also wasn't able to work. And so we fell in love with self-storage because really, I say passive income, there's an active piece to it for sure, but there's steady income coming in every month, and we are not trading nearly the time that we traded when we were in residential real estate. And we're making a lot more money as well.
Yeah. And I just want to add one quick thing. We had one experience where it took us 9 months to get a tenant out of one of our apartments. And when I could do that in 3 months with self-storage because of the laws and how you don't need to have your storage, stuff you have in storage. It's not for you to live. It's only extra. And the laws know that versus, hey, I need a place to stay. And they always support the renter, not the actual people paying the mortgage.
Okay. So you deal with, where are we in this? So Rod's sick, right? And you're caring for him?
Yep.
And the income stops.
Yep.
Right. Because that's what I thought. So you said something that's interesting that really stuck with me. And if you're listening, it should have stuck with you. Christin, you said the storage isn't passive income, right? But it's consistent income without trading your time for dollars, the same way residential is. So, and I think that's interesting because when you live through your income going to zero because you can't work, that distinction is no longer academic; it's survival.
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's wild. So, gosh, we sit there and we think about these things, right? We plan them on paper or maybe in Excel, or shoot, now we're using AI to plan these things out, right? But are you doing it in a vacuum or real life? You actually did it in real life, like where things mattered, right? Because you did have to stop working to care for Rod. And so you actually experienced it. That's just so incredible. All right, so you're coming out of this and you make the decision to shift into commercial assets. Self-storage specifically is where you kind of honed in on. Talk to me about that leap, because you had to be very comfortable in residential. You knew the margins, you knew the game. What was it like stepping into something where you didn't know how to own and operate? And you know, in your case, I happen to know, and I know you're going to tell us part of your story, but wasn't even in your backyard.
That's correct. So we did take a leap of faith. We were very comfortable with residential real estate, our skill set there. We knew how to do it. We knew how to make money. We knew it worked. And for the self-storage, we weren't so sure. We never owned and operated. We never owned a commercial asset. Didn't know how to buy, didn't know how to operate it. So we joined at the Self-Storage Academy and educated ourselves to learn the skill sets that we needed to be able to purchase a facility and to be able to operate a facility. All of our residential, with the exception of a few of our rental properties, were all local to us. And so we were in the mindset that it needed to be in our backyard. And we live in Maryland, and I'm not sure if many people are aware, but most of the self-storage in Maryland are Class A facilities. And our appetite wasn't Class A. There's different Class A, Class B, Class C self-storage facilities. And we were looking at more of the value add, mom and pop type facilities, and there weren't that many in this area. And so we were kind of in our own way for the first year, thinking that we had to stay in our backyard. And fortunately, we were surrounded by a great community who helped us get out of our own way and show us the way that we could actually buy outside of our state, and that we could actually operate it from Maryland when it's in Kentucky or North Carolina or wherever the facility is. So we took this leap of faith. Kind of the first one was to prove and test the waters. Does this really work? Can we really do this? And it did. And we were so confident that we were closing on our first facility. We got under contract on our second facility. So, and it's 5 years later, and I can tell you that it definitely works.
I want to rewind a second, because as you're telling the story, and it's so fascinating, and I know some of it because I know you guys pretty well, but I don't know all of it. And I want to ask a question here. So you went to the self-storage, or you got yourself educated through the Self-Storage Academy. Did you do that in residential?
Yes.
Or did you just send Rod to an auction? He came home with the property.
Well, kind of both. I think he bought the property, and then we're like, oh crap, what do we do with this?
Maybe we should get education on this.
We didn't have a contractor. We didn't have anything. Like, this was like
no clue. I had a house. Had another house.
Yeah, Joe, I never shared that story with you, but and it was with a pool, nonetheless. This was our
yes, it had a pool.
a damn pool.
What could possibly go wrong here? So all right. So you bought you bought this house with education, you said?
We were in the process of educating ourselves. So we weren't fully educated. We didn't really know what we were doing. Rod thought he got a great deal.
I did.
He bought it.
Was it at the end of the day?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Back to self-storage. You said you bought your first one to try it out, I think, or you alluded to trying it out, almost like you sent Rod to another auction. But let's talk to me about that first facility. Where is it? How big is it? What did it cost? If you don't mind sharing numbers.
Not at all.
What did you pay for it? Et cetera.
I paid less for that self-storage facility than I did a lot of the single-family properties that I have bought. So
there's a mic drop moment we should unpack in a little bit. Go ahead.
Yes. And the exit's going to be much greater, and the cash flow is much greater. So bought it in Kentucky. Go ahead.
You live in Annapolis. You bought a facility in Kentucky. That's right around the corner. Next.
Yes. Right around the corner, just a couple-minute drive. So we bought it there, and we found We bought it for $330,000. It's 62 units. It's 9,000 rentable square feet. Today, I think we've owned it for almost 5 years. We're coming up on 5 years in August, and we could sell it now for close to $800,000. So we created a significant amount of value from the time we bought.
Hello.
Yes. Not to mention, drops off probably about $50,000. Not that one. That one probably drops off about $20,000 in cash flow a year.
So 20,000 in cash flow, net positive cash flow that's after debt service, everything, right? That's in your bank. 20,000 a year, 5 years. That's actually $100,000 you've accumulated from that facility. 9,000 square feet. You said that's actually fairly small. That's pretty small facility, but my goodness, 330 and it's worth 800. That's 470. Gross numbers. That's a $470,000 gain, over 2x.
Yeah.
On the entire property, not just your investment, meaning on the value, not just your investment, because I know you didn't buy it for cash, did you?
Yeah, we put 20% down and financed it with a regular conventional loan.
So if you're doing the math at home, that's $470,000 gross gain on roughly a $60,000 to $70,000 investment.
Yeah. Yes.
That's insane. We should probably just end the podcast right here and send people to the Self-Storage Academy. But we won't. We will continue because you have another story just like this. So now, by the way, you don't know this in year one. You're buying your first one. It looks good. You don't know yet that it's going to absolutely double in value and then some in 5 years. I think your model probably said something to that effect. Did it not?
It did. Yeah.
Okay. So you're feeling pretty good, and so you go out and do it again. What'd you do the second time?
So Rod got this one.
At an auction? You sent him an auction?
She made me drive for dollars. I was driving for dollars. Meeting my neighbors.
Yeah, we were in Kentucky closing on that facility and transitioning it from the old owner to the new owner. And Rod was driving for dollars while I was doing something back at the facility. And we got another facility under contract, which was 5 miles away. And we bought that one for $430,000. And it's 117 units and 14,000 net rentable.
Yeah. The owner had a self-storage problem because he was excited about his lawnmower business.
Love it. So 14,000 net rentable, 117 units. I think you said paid 430, 100,000 more. What is that facility worth if you wanted to sell it today?
Yeah, if we wanted to sell it today, it would be between 1 million and 1.1.
Holy moly. So let's say $1 million. That's 570. So 470 and 579, about $1,040,000.
Yeah.
Is your gross potential gain right now. What did you put down on that facility? 470,000. 430, excuse me.
20%.
So another 80-ish, call it 90-ish $1,000. So we're 100. You probably closing costs. We're $200-ish $1,000.
Sure, little, yeah.
Out of pocket. Is this one cash flowing too?
Oh yeah, this one's cash flowing even better. So between both facilities, this one's about $35,000 a year after taxes, after debt, after all of that we're cash.
So $50,000 a year plus 5 years. We've collected $250. You were out of pocket less than $200. So you're essentially playing
paid off
money.
Yeah.
And you've got a combined $1 million plus in gain should you ever choose to monetize that by either selling or refinancing those facilities. And we don't have enough time on this podcast to go into all that. But you have so many amazing options in front of you. And Christin, I'm going to come back to that mic drop moment. At least the first purchase you said was less than some houses you've actually bought to wholesale or flip?
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to interview you guys on this podcast because I've had first time buyers on before, and they're extremely excited. And I love walking them through for the listeners so they can see what in the moment how exciting it is, and but also how daunting it is, and how or at least it seems like it's daunting. And what I love about where you guys are is like, it's not, those stories are unfinished, right? And I'm not saying your story is finished either, but it's certainly taken shape, right? The listener with those other stories, those first time buyers, if there was any seeds of doubt still, it's, well, let's see how they work out, right?
Yeah.
That could be the only seed of doubt. There's no seeds of doubt here. This is incredible, and this is something that anyone could do. And what I love about your story is, in particular, you came out of the residential space into the storage space, and it wasn't like going from a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house to a skyscraper, right? It was, I mean, the way you just put it, Christin, was almost like a step down in asset value, in cash out of pocket.
Yep.
To get into a space that allowed you to, well, I don't know, did you make $400,000 or $500,000 on any wholesales or flips?
No, I've made 6 figures on them, but not 400,000 or 500,000. Is that what you asked?
Six figures is $100,000. Did you come anywhere near $400,000 and $500,000? Okay, so, and that's kind of the point I'm getting. Now, the other thing you said was interesting to me is, a little earlier, you said we took a leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure in the moment, especially with your expertise, I would think at 450 transactions, I'll call you a residential expert with such an expertise in that field. I'm sure it felt like a leap of faith.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in the moment it felt like a leap of faith. And I'm sure there were real life examples of the leap of faith, like maybe income or lack of income or whatever. Looking back, though, does it feel like a leap of faith that you took?
No.
No.
No. It makes me wonder why we didn't make that move sooner and why we didn't buy more back then.
Right.
Send Rod to more auctions.
No. That's not the
Oh,
answer.
I was gonna say, I think their biggest thing was we didn't know the terminology, and that was our scare factor. And once we got into the academy and learned terminology, we realized, hey, it's easy to function from. So let's just educate and move forward. And we did, and we bought.
Any regrets?
Not doing it sooner.
Not doing it sooner. Not buying more.
Not buying more.
Not driving for more dollars, maybe?
Yeah, I got to get rid of that W-2 and drive for more dollars.
Which if you ask any of our students, I think they're tired of hearing me say it, but if they would just do it, they wouldn't have to be so tired. All right, so shot across the bow for our students listening. All right, so that's the portfolio, but what's happened beyond just the facilities might even be more interesting. So we were I'm going to set the stage here. We were at Self-Storage Academy in Phoenix last month, and oh no, it's already March. So in January, 2 months ago, you guys, you two, I know because you invited me and then uninvited me. We'll unpack that later. To a dinner that you had with potential investors. Correct? True? True story?
True.
Could you have had that dinner 5 years ago, 7 years ago, even?
No, we were the highlights. Like I have grown a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
So we've grown the relationship with other friends. We were in a couple other masterminds or just real estate groups, and they, for diversity, to understand what are your heartaches and just help people like us, like mom and pops. Like that's why we joined these groups. And they're like, hey, you guys are doing things that these other people are curious about, afraid, like we were, right? But nobody was talking to them. And so they said, we just mind having dinner. And I said, let's have dinner. And we're invited back. They want us to come back more and go in more detail.
Oh, you can come this time.
You can come this time, Joe. And
I won't blow
it's a
it,
very,
I promise.
no, and it's very good because all you're doing is saying, hey, these are my heartaches, but this is what I did to correct them. And these people are the people who are doers. They just need the guidance to kind of say, hold my hand and I can do it. Help me understand what this terminology means. And just like we did. And
Yeah. Well, to
it's
add to
amazing.
that, Rod, if I can, these are business owners, high net worth
Yep.
people, right, who are looking to put their money in assets, hard assets, right?
Yep.
They probably don't, some of them do have the time to go full into self-storage and own and operate and all that stuff, but a lot of them are just looking to buy or to partner with people who are buying these asset classes. So it's opening up doors for us that we never even conceived 5 years ago, right? And within from 2012 till 2018-19, I did 450 plus residential transactions. From 2020, well, really 21, because that's when we bought our first facility. We've bought 3 facilities. We bought land to develop, and we're partners in 4 others. And then we also are general partners in a couple other asset classes as well. So I would have never, looking back in 2021, thought we would be where we are now. And it's been a
Can I
ride.
point out something there? That
Yeah.
sounds like roughly 443 less transactions in that time period too.
Joe, Rod is a little jealous because my work days are not like his. So my time,
Great
time.
great transition. So Rod, you're still W-2, envious of Kristen's just does what she wants schedule, which I'm sure she's working very hard.
She is.
It's not about how long you work, it's how smart you work, Rod. So don't be so jealous. But by the way, you could join her if you get rid of your W-2 job. What is the outlook for that? You guys could sell those facilities and he could be done. I know you don't want to. What does that look like? So what's the game plan, Rod? I know you're going to be done with it at some point in the near future, I would think. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what do you see happening in the next year or 2 years?
So lately, we've had some amazing opportunities from the people we've known and grown with to really even enhance our ability to get to our ultimate path of what we see our future selves in 5 years, right? Kristen and I don't see ourselves always doing storage. Storage is just going to be an enabler, right? For us, we are building, especially in my area, and I'll give a quick one on Kristen. My area is to get back to veterans and get them out of the mindset of a W-2 and always listening to man. Nobody taught us anything. Nobody taught me anything. And so why do you think I was hesitant? Because the man said I follow these rules, and I was a military guy and do it. I realized I needed somebody to help me figure out new rules. And so that's my passion, and we're going to build a campus to make sure this happens and give back. Kristen's passion is an expansion of that, which is only inviting, and I'll let her take over that expansion of how these two things go together. Like my Warriors to Wealth for the veterans.
Before we do it, can you give us 30 seconds on Warriors to Wealth?
Yeah. So Warriors to Wealth really came as an idea of, hey, I need to identify and execute my lifestyle freedom. And that became through my journey through cancer, right? I was always thought I had to take care of my family, and money did it, right? And I fully wasn't balanced in my mental, physical, spiritual, and financial aspects of life. I was a triathlete and all these, but it really didn't mean what I thought it was. I was always trying to please somebody else. I didn't have my inner freedom. So Warriors to Wealth is designed to help veterans and military first responders and their families identify their own internal freedoms and set them on their mission course to find the freedom to give back, but also have the ability by financially getting educated or better health or better spiritually grounded or just growing in the right mind to make it happen.
Love it. Kristen, did you want to expand on it?
Sure.
Like where you're headed?
So he said a campus, but our ultimate goal is to own a farm, lots of acres that has a retreat center there, right? To help go through this, not just with veterans, but with the youth. The kids are in the school systems these days and they're missing. I mean, I've got a medical, my older daughter's in the medical field and has no financial skill set, right? And so I'm working with her and teaching her. So it's helping elevate these people or these young children or teenagers or young adults to really create their own life and create the lifestyle that they want, and helping them, show them the path as to how to do that. That's really our ultimate goal. And for us, storage is a way for us to be able to do that.
And You've both now said the same thing. Kristen, you just said storage is a way for us, and Rod, you said storage is an enabler, and this time it's in a good way, right? And that's
Right.
what I love. I love about this business because storage is the vehicle; it's not the destination. Folks, Kristen and Rod aren't building a storage empire because they love roll-up doors. They're building it because it funds the life and the mission they actually care about. Kristen, Rod, for the husband and wife team, or the two neighbors, or the brother-in-laws that are always hashing out a business plan to invest in something in real estate, or Kristen, here's a little plug for you. Since I know you were recently a guest presenter at an all-female investment conference. So for the power women out there, all of the above, listening right now, sitting on the fence, not sure if they should buy their first or another single family or take the leap into commercial, something like self-storage, what do they need to hear?
Well, I mean, this is a cliche because everybody says this, but if we can do it, you can do it. Number one, Rod and I are just ordinary people living ordinary lives in all reality, right? We were faced with some obstacles in our way, which helped us guide us, on this journey. My word of advice is start now. Don't wait, and have the confidence. You are going to learn and grow so quickly through this. And trust me, even after 450 residential transactions, every residential transaction I do, I still learn and I still grow from. Same thing with storage. You are just constantly learning and you're constantly upgrading your knowledge, how you're buying, how you're operating, and you're surrounding yourself with people who are out there doing the same thing and just want to create a greater life and a greater world for everybody around them. And I wished I would have skipped over the residential, although there's fabulous lessons during that time, and have gone into commercial right away. But I am where I am, and I'm grateful for every obstacle and every journey we've been down because it's gotten us to where we are. And I'm sure we'll have more. So,
Rod, do you want to add to that, or you want to be a good husband and give your wife the last word?
Hey, look, she always gets the last word, so I'm sure she'll say something as soon as I'm done speaking.
Smart man. Folks, 5 years ago, Kristen and Rod were at the kitchen table looking at statements that told them the safe path wasn't safe anymore. And today they're sitting on assets worth multiples of what they paid. They're raising capital. They're planning a nonprofit. The only thing that changed was the decision to do something different. So if you're sitting at your own kitchen table right now wondering if this is real, it's real. You just heard from two people who made it real. They're proof. Folks, thanks for joining us for another great episode of Self-Storage Investing Podcast. We'll see you next week if we don't see you at the next